بنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. يروي الإمام مسلم في صحيحه عن عائشة أم المؤمنين رضي الله عنها قالت. The hadith tonight collection Imam Muslim raised us by our mother Aisha رضي الله عنها. And the theme is still issues of marriage. I have 3 more hadith that I want to narrate to you that I was sick last week. I didn't come around to do them, so I'm going to do them this week inshallah ta'ala. And then we'll move on to something different starting next week inshallah ta'ala. These are just nice hadith that I want you to hear. I think they're beneficial for those of you who are at least married. This is what she said رضي الله عنها. قالت كنت أشرب وأنا حائض ثم أناوله النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فيشرب فيضع فاه موضع فيه وأتعرق العرق أو العظم وأتعرق العرق وأنا حائض ثم أناوله النبي فيضع فاه موضع فيه صلى الله عليه وسلم. This is what this means. She said, I would drink from a cup when I was on my period, when I was menstruating. Now, those of you who are married know that this is not the most pleasant time for a woman throughout the month. It's difficult for her. It's actually quite painful, physically speaking and medically speaking. She loses a lot of blood. She uses a lot of tissue inside of her body that kind of basically, and there's a hormonal change that you can easily just Google it tonight. You can see that there's a hormonal change that happens within inside. So not only is she physically losing blood and losing tissue, which is painful and it's draining, but she's also hormonally going through changes that are difficult to manage your mood in the midst of it. So she's not feeling the best, and it is haram for there to be nikah during that time. Jima' is haram, meaning for there to be full relations between the husband and wife during that time is impermissible. It's prohibited. So she would say, radiallahu anha, and this is the level and degree of sensitivity of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam towards this. And this is what I think we should take always some time to learn from him alayhi salatu wasalam, because this shows you what type of person he was in his home. She said, I would take a cup and drink when I was ha'id, when I was on my period. And when I was done drinking, أناوله النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام, I would give it to the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام to drink from. قال فيضع فاه موضع في. الفو is, the word fu means mouth, right? So fuhu, his mouth. فيضع فاه, he would put his mouth. موضع في, in the same spot I put my mouth. Now here's the thing. Did you even know that women would notice this to begin with? If you're sitting beside your wife and she drinks water and gives you the cup, did you even care? Like, you even look where she drank from? Or do you think in your mind that she's actually noticing where you're drinking from? The answer is yes, she is. She's noticing all of these details. And you're being heavily judged by them, by the way, too. But she's watching them, right? So the Prophet ﷺ is aware that this is the time of the month where she feels a little bit self-conscious, where she feels a little bit insecure, maybe a little bit upset. And he knows ﷺ that she's noticing this, that this is something that she cares for. This is what he's doing ﷺ is something that you do when you're engaged. When you just get engaged, you have to act all, you have to, even if you don't, you're a guy, you have to act all, you have to do this stuff. You have to do this stuff. You have to care about all these details because they care about these details. But he's been married to her ﷺ for years. How do men who are married for years behave regarding this issue? Sallallahu alayhi wa ajma'in. Just so you understand the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. You understand the difference in character between us and between him alayhi salatu wasalam. He is aware of all of these things. So he would take the cup from her hand and he would take and turn it around so that he will put his mouth the same place where she put her mouth. Radiallahu anha. She's telling us this, not the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. قال وكنت وأتعرق العرق. العرق is العظم الذي فيه بقية لحم. It's a piece of bone that still has some meat on it. Arabs love this for some reason. I don't know why, it's beyond me. But they love taking this bone and just kind of chowing down on the pieces of meat that are left and taking the marrow from the inside. Apparently it tastes really good. I don't know, I'll never try it, but you're welcome to do so if you want. But أتعرق العرق is I would take that bone and I would eat from it. I would be taking off whatever meat is left and using. وأنا حائض, when I was menstruating. ثم أناوله النبي عليه. And then I give to the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. It's a piece of meat or a piece of bone that has some meat on it. So she would be watching him عليه الصلاة والسلام. فيضع فاه موضع فيه. And then he would go and he would eat from the place that I was eating from. صلى الله عليه وسلم. Knowing that she's watching, knowing that this is something that is meaningful to her, knowing that this is something that will make her feel better within the day that she's going through. Knowing that she'll feel better if he does this, alayhi salatu wasalam, you would take time to make sure he did it. So she would feel more supported and feel loved. And it's just there's actually way more to that in terms of how he behaved with his wife when she was menstruating. But I love this hadith because Aisha is just giving her record. It's her record, it's what she remembers. That she would do this watch and then see him, and alayhi salatu would do exactly what would make her feel good about herself. And that's the type of husband he was, alayhi salatu wasalam. That's the type of husband that you are aspiring to be within your life if you truly love him, alayhi salatu wasalam, and want to be like him. يروي الإمام مسلم في صحيحه عن عائشة أم المؤمنين رضي الله عنها قالت: كنت أشرب وأنا حائض ثم أناوله النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم فيضع فاه موضع في ويشرب وكنت أتعرق العرق وأنا حائض ثم أناوله النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيضع فاه موضع في. صدق رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه